Cold open.
I
Why
like
is it never
it.
called a hot open?
I like it cold. I prefer things cold. Ruben, do you prefer things cold or hot?
It depends what we're talking about. Pizza, I like it both. I like cold and hot.
What about
pizza.
your women? Do you like them cold or hot?
It depends. I like both types of women.
Because if they're hot, they're probably too easy. If they're cold, that means they're a little closed off, a little hard to get. They're like hard to get?
I am not following this analogy.
I don't really know what we're talking about, but this is a great time to intro. Hey, welcome to the Guys Who Cry podcast.
Check it out. We have a table.
Yeah, we got a table. We got some trinkets from around the world.
We are trying to do a Joe Rogan-esque thing with the table.
Yeah.
Trying to add things to make us look a little bit more podcast.
And our first sponsor, Ass Shock drink.
It is not our first sponsor.
Is that the name of this drink, though? Ass Shock?
I think it's a shock.
Oh, a shock.
Like a shock to the system.
I totally forgot that we had an all-room camera because I'm wearing jorts right now, and I would have changed my pants otherwise.
Because his name is John Cena.
I thought we were doing a work-from-home setup where you can only see torso up. So
it's okay, man.
John Cena has a lot more hair than I do, so yeah, great.
That's all right, man.
Forgive the Band-Aid. I cut myself while shaving my head today. I cut my hand while shaving my head somehow.
That works.
Yeah, forgive me. But this is a great setup.
It is a good setup. I like the setup. It kind of gives a little bit more legitimacy. It gives us something to kind of do with our hands. Help us make some points. There it is. I do this thing to like really emphasize points. Like when we're like in a news interview and we are just putting our hands on the table, like we're just pointing at things.
This reminds me of cuddling. Can we talk about, is it okay if you're cuddling with a girl and it's like the first or second time? He knows why I bring this up. Is it okay to kiss the person you're cuddling with? Is it?
I don't know, man.
A kiss on the cheek, a little.
So
inside joke.
So what happened the other night? It just, it went back to my place. I was tired. And it was a group of 4 of us, including Adam. Here's 2 guys, 2 girls. It wasn't a double date. It wasn't anything like that.
No.
It's just, I invited my friend Nikki to come hang out with us. She was like, hey, my friend's going to come out. And it's like, cool. So we had a good time. And
oh, great job. You said her name. That's excellent.
I didn't say her whole name.
Okay, true. Do they listen?
I don't know. Probably not.
Okay, great.
We have 8 listeners. So
I also
all
thought my
8 of our
girlfriend
listeners.
We'll talk about that. I also thought my girlfriend wasn't listening to the podcast when she was. Anyway, go ahead.
And so, like, the night just ended up going way longer than I expected.
Yes.
To, like, the point where, like, it was, like, 11 o'clock. We were heading back to my house. And I was like, oh, you guys are picking up Wawa to take it home? Like, that's cool. And the girl's like, no, we're going to watch a movie at your place. And I was like, what?
Because you're ready to go to bed a half hour ago.
And, like, the other girl were sitting next to each other. And we just, like, end up, like... falling right asleep right away.
We watched Anchorman, watched that whole movie, and then the other girl who was with me.
Yeah, so they started cuddling, which is fine.
Yeah.
Adam thought it was cool to take the blanket off my bed.
Why was that? Wait, now what's wrong with that? I do want to know.
There's nothing wrong with it.
That's important.
Nothing was wrong with it. I think I just woke up at like 2 a.m. and I was like grumpy and thrown off that there were still people in my house.
Right.
And I was like...
I knew it, too.
And then, like, you guys were talking the whole time and, like, talking about dumb stuff.
Not me.
But... And I was like, what? I was like, oh, my God, shut up. And then I woke up and I was like, why is my blanket out here? What are you guys still doing in my house? I
didn't want the cuddling to end, so I was willing to facilitate and encourage the talking.
But then Adam told me he, like, kissed her on her cheek, and I was like, oh... That's okay, I guess.
It was cute. It's fine. Yeah, it's cute. I was going to mention that. I talked about talking about stuff on the podcast and how it can get you into trouble.
Yes. So
I never really shared that. I won't go into the whole story, but I was dating a girl from Ecuador who is wonderful. And that was back in December. So during the podcast in December, I had mentioned dating this girl. And then I mentioned that my other ex was going to be in town, and I thought about visiting her. And everyone on the podcast, I mentioned this on the podcast, and everyone was like, don't visit your ex. You're in a current relationship. Don't visit your old ex. And because I mentioned that on my podcast, my current girlfriend listened to it. I didn't think she was going to listen to the podcast at all. And as a result of her listening to it, it fostered some underlying insecurity, which then got brought up in conversations later I didn't understand that led to us breaking up. That's kind of my theory on it, which is fine. That's understandable. I shouldn't have visited my ex-girlfriend. It was just a simple public mall visit.
Table coming in clutch
this is good.
already.
This is good.
Look at this. A lot of
But it taught me that lesson of
table.
like it's dangerous to like share stuff on the podcast, especially about a current relationship. And just to be more careful. And I learned my lesson,
Yeah.
Anyway,
we all learn our lessons. I'm actually like so open on this podcast though. So like,
it's dangerous, man.
When I do, like when I start talking to somebody, I'm like, I'm an open book. So like whatever questions you have, I'm pretty open about my experiences in my past. Like I have a whole podcast about it. So there's a whole bunch of stuff on this podcast that I don't have any problem talking about.
What the problem is though, if you're like dating someone new and you're like, oh, but my ex-girlfriend's around and I kind of want to talk to her or I still have feelings for her, like probably not a good idea.
Sure. And I think those are things you should talk about with your partner, to be fair.
Yeah.
But anyway, what were we going to say? Oh yeah. So Cortland reached out.
This is a mutual friend of ours.
You guys know Cortland. He's been on the podcast 2 times.
Not if they haven't listened to the podcast before.
Well, he's a friend of the podcast, been on the show a few times. You may know him. He loves ships. Good ships, wood ships, and friendships. Those are all things he likes. He reached out to Adam and I last week. This is a topic that we really don't know a lot about. So if you guys have a little bit more input, we'd love it. He was like, hey, I would love to get your input on Lori Harvey and Michael B. Jordan and them breaking up, because Cortland said that it was because Lori Harvey wanted to focus a little bit on her career, and I guess Michael B. Jordan was putting the pressure on to kind of take the next step in their relationship.
Now they're both actors. I don't know anything about Lori.
Models, like that whole thing. Yeah. So Cortland was like, to me, it's like weird because like I think when you're in a relationship, it's a partnership, and the whole point of being in a relationship is to like push each other to be the best version of yourselves. So like that whole thing of like, oh, you should still be able. I think you should still be able to do what you want and still be able to take that next step in your relationship. But I guess that depends on what each person thinks the next step is.
But again, to me, that's just an indication that maybe she didn't love him as much as he did her, or did not care about the relationship as much as he did.
See, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
To me, it seems like maybe Michael B. Jordan wanted to just slow down a little bit and maybe just wanted to be at home a little bit more and like,
or wanted her to be home a little bit?
Yeah, and they wanted to just kind of start a family and like that kind of thing. And like she's 25 and he's 35. And we've talked about that before, like the difference in age being like a thing, right? Like, so he has a whole decade on her as far as his career goes, and she just kind of wants to explore her career a little bit. So I kind of understand both sides of it, to be honest.
Right. I don't blame her. I guess I just feel like there's so many couples that are together and have separate careers, pursue their whatever they're doing, and they stay together. To me, I feel like maybe she just didn't love him enough to want to stay in that and also do what she wanted to do. Because she could have stayed in the relationship and do what she wanted to do, no?
But if one person is pushing for a different outcome than you want, even though you still really like that person, like maybe it's just not the same timeline. Sure. Timing is a thing, and we've talked about that on the show plenty of times before. I mean, I think timing is huge. So, like, who knows? Maybe in 10 years, they rekindle that spark they had, and she is ready to settle down. But right now, she wants to explore her career. I don't think it means she loves him any less. I think, I mean, according to Steve Harvey, they're both taking it very hard, and she's taking it hard.
Oh, okay.
She's obviously bummed. I mean, Michael B. Jordan is a handsome fellow. Like, super great actor and, like, very talented, and I think she also dated somebody from Migos or something like that. And like, it was just there's a couple things for some reason people are talking about it, and like she's become a villain, and I don't understand why she's become a villain.
Yeah.
Like they're putting her in like the Amber Heard, Jada Pinkett, like Smith kind of thing. And
she's being true to herself, and she wants to do it. So obviously there was some point of contention that they could not resolve, because it sounds like something they could resolve. Maybe she has to travel a little bit more.
Right.
Okay. He probably does too. but maybe he wants her to be more available, and she's like, I need to focus on my career.
Right.
And maybe that's the point of contention.
He probably was like, listen, I'm going to start slowing my career down. I have done all my acting stuff. I kind of want to maybe take a third of the roles that I'm used to taking. And like, I kind of want to be a little bit more of a homebody. I want to have a wife and kids and stuff. I mean, what do you think, Greg?
Probably. I mean, he's been acting for how many years? I mean, he was in The Wire. So is he in his 30s?
Yeah, he's 35.
35, she's 25, right?
Yeah.
How much does that age difference come into it? We talked a little bit about that before the podcast. Do you guys think?
I think it depends. Depends on the person, right?
Well, you mentioned this the other day that would be a fear if you did date someone in their like early or mid 20s.
Early 20s, yeah, especially.
I mean, I think that is something that, it's just, it is a difference of where you're at in your life. I mean, I'm at a point in my career in life where, I mean, I was dating someone and she was in grad school. And I think one of the points of contention was like, we weren't able to just match up at like, just where you were at in life. And it wasn't anything either of us did. It was just a weird timing issue.
Yeah. You can still have love for someone, but it to not be enough to overcome your own personal goals. I think that's part of it. Because if you really love someone so much, you're willing to overcome lots and lots of hurdles. My friend and I talk about this in terms of when it comes to distance. You could have long distance, but if you really love each other, you're going to want to make it work in some way. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I
don't know where I was going with that.
Yeah. I was kind of waiting for a
point. That's what Reuben says.
Yeah.
So what's your point?
Yeah. I was waiting for there to be a point. I guess, like, I don't know. I think you can be in love with somebody and it's just not the right moment. I mean, I'm also a big believer of that. Like, you know, I do kind of believe that there are certain timing issues, and, I think you meet people at certain times in your life, and if it was 5 years later, it would probably be a perfect time to be dating, but it's just not the right
sort of
time.
like realistic love or realistic relationships. Yeah, I do think that's possible.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just it's a weird. Love is weird, and love is different for everybody. So, everybody has a different view of what their perfect relationship looks like, and
what they're willing to do for it too. Yeah. Everyone has their limits for sure.
So I have tried, especially with our like mutual friend who's dating somebody right now, I've tried to just be better about not being so pushy with my dating advice. Just saying, hey, this is what I think. Take it for what you will. And not being as involved as I was like with you and like Cortland. I've tried to really take that step back. Look at this table. So good.
Well, it's just that idea of like relationships are messy and people have to take chances and take risks. You can't just say, well, I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to hurt myself, because then you just never take chances and risks. But how do you balance that with being careful and being thoughtful
and being realistic? Yeah. Right. I think you could love somebody with all your heart, and man, it is going to, it can work, but it's going to be tough. And how much are you really willing to commit to that relationship? And, and you have to think about all those things. And
like for me, doing long distance in that particular case would have been a total deal breaker for most people. You're going to date some girl in Ecuador. Like, really? But for me, I just don't meet girls that I'm attracted to around where I live. There's no competition. There's no possibility of cheating or anything like that. So I have someone in my life who's really special. For me, in my particular circumstance, being with somebody who's long distance actually makes me happier than not having anyone at all. But for most people, it would be an automatic deal breaker. You wouldn't even start talking to someone from another country.
Yeah, I mean, I would just rather not have somebody than, I guess, have to jump through a million freaking hoops to be with somebody.
I guess for me, in that particular case, it wasn't a lot of hoops. I work from home. I had to travel a little bit, but I still get to talk to this person who is rare. This person's a once every 3-5 years kind of person, So you kind of take that opportunity. And now that I've lost that person, I'm waiting again. And it's fine.
It is.
I was going to ask you about the person you're talking to now and how you had to, you inadvertently brought up the recent fame or notoriety
Uh, yeah. So since Chopped has aired, I haven't really been. I mean, I don't match with people very often on dating apps. I mean, it's usually more of like somebody matches with me, and then I just wait, and it's Hinge. I like Hinge a lot because like I can swipe all day and like no one will match with me. So if somebody matches with me, it's a little bit easier to go and see like, oh hey, what does this person look like? So like I'd match with somebody, and so I haven't really had the. I mean, this is so recent. It's like not even like a thing yet. I don't know how to process it, and like I guess the whole process isn't even done yet because there's still one more episode left to air.
Yeah.
And it was, it just came up because we were talking about air travel. And I was like, oh, yeah, the last time I was on an airplane was I was coming back from Knoxville. And she's like, oh, why were you in Knoxville? And I was like, well, I was on an episode of Chopped. And, and it aired, a couple weeks ago. And she was like, so did you win? And I was like, yep. And she was like, what? That's so cool. And but the funny story with that is, I guess like as you do, you talk to your coworkers about your dating life, right?
Sure.
I think like that is something we all do. We talk to our friends, like, hey, this is this person I'm talking to. Like, this is what they look like. This is their profile. This is their Instagram, whatever. And I guess she showed her coworker, and her coworker was like, man, that guy looks really familiar, and I just don't know why, but he looks familiar. And then, like, the next day, literally, like, the day after I told her that I was on Chopped, her coworker came in. She was like, he was on Chopped. That's where that guy's from. And I was like, that is so embarrassing. So embarrassing.
Why
That's
is it
cool.
embarrassing?
Yeah, why is it embarrassing?
I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. I'm just not used to it, I guess. So I just feel like a little weird about it.
But you are used to being recognized a lot, but it's when it's a complete stranger.
Yeah.
You're just like, they're like, how do I know this person? They've never seen you before around town or at a restaurant or anything. Yeah, it was weird.
Like, our buddy and I went out for a drink after we all hung out last week when we recorded. You had to come back and set up. So our other friend and I went to Homegrown. And, I have been to Homegrown a couple times, and I had conversations with the bartender, but not enough to be like, hey, what's up? Say, hey, how's it going? Good to see you. Da-da-da. As soon as I walk in, she's like, oh my God, congratulations. And I was like, oh yeah, thanks. Like, forgot that that's a thing.
Yeah, how do you think you would handle like national or international fame, where it's like?
I think I would learn to deal with it. It's just, I mean, this is one thing. It's a flash in the pan. In like a month and a half, it's not going to be as big a deal as it is now.
But would you embrace it? Or would it be like, oh, this is really cool? Or would it be like, okay, I need some time alone. Like, this is too much. People calling you out on the street or anything like that. How do you think you would handle that?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Like Gordon Ramsay level of fame. Just think like.
That's a good question. I think I'd be able to deal with it. I think.
Because you are more introverted too, right? So that pressure of public pressure after a while might be a little.
Yeah, but I'm also very good about knowing when I just need my alone time.
True.
So I would just stay at home. And not do it. Like today, I did nothing today.
Paparazzi outside your door.
Don't you guys think an introvert would handle fame easier though? Because like in this sense, I know this is weird, but in the sense of somebody who's social, they like being around social circles of groups of people that they know.
Right.
When you're famous, you don't know all those people that know you.
Right.
So if you're an introvert, it's very easy to say, you know what? I'm going to unplug from society for a little bit. I'm going to go to my house in the hills and disappear, listen to my record collection.
Maybe.
That would be hard because if I'm an extrovert, I want to be out and about among my friends, but not necessarily out and about with a bunch of strangers or people that are harassing me or being annoying. So I'm going to be out in a place where I'm going to get annoyed. If you're an introvert, you're like, oh, I'm fine to stay home. You stay home and you're not annoyed.
Yeah, that was all my point was.
Yeah, it's a great point. Really interesting. Really interesting.
Yeah. I mean, so that was a funny story. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's cool. I did ask you. I said, what did you think was different about this girl than other girls you've dated in the past? Do you want to talk about that? You said there was one thing.
It was just a conversation. I felt like
communication.
Communication was great. So I'm not the biggest texter, especially like dating wise. I don't like. You having that pressure to text during the day.
But you keep a regular sort of rhythm throughout the day. Just a check-up, a check-in,
But like, it is very common for me not to be on my phone for 5, 6, 7 hours during the day because I'm at work and like I put my phone down or I'm cooking something. I can't really be on my phone while I'm cooking something or like dinner service. Can't really be on my phone. So like I like to talk on the phone, and this is something this person's doing.
That doesn't seem weird to me though, because I'm a big texter, but like that doesn't seem at all like weird or strange or not communicative enough. Like that seems fine to me.
Well, you like to text a lot more during the day though with a girl.
Right, but if the girl's at work, I get it. Like maybe a checkup every couple of hours, whatever. Like I get it.
See, even that, like every couple hours, that's
maybe.
That's a lot. Like for me, it's like in the morning. Maybe once in like the afternoon, and then like on my way home, it's like, can I call you?
I guess, yeah. I said you respond to group text though pretty regularly. I feel like pretty consistently.
Well, yeah, because it's like notification after notification on my phone. I'm like, let me shut these dudes up.
But see, like, what's funny is like I talk to a lot of people all the time. When I get that girl that I really like, she goes right up to the top of the priority list. So like I'm responding to her first and foremost above everybody else, you know? So it's exciting to me. It's like, oh, I get this message from this girl. I'm really attracted. Oh, yeah, let me talk to her, you know? But yeah. And it's different with your work too, because your hands are actually occupied, busy. So I will say there's been a couple of times where I've met someone where I have been addicted to talking to them and literally like my fingers hurt from talking to them. And I love that. Like I love that sort of interaction. And I have a job where I can kind of do that, although it does waste a lot of time. But it's really fun when you meet a personality where you have that level of connection. It's really cool. But I don't expect it, don't need it, you know.
Yeah, see, I hate that.
Well, good for you.
You guys are polar
I hate
opposites.
the consistent texting through the day. It's like, oh my gosh, like, what are you texting me about now? Like, it's like the one girl I was seeing, she would like send me like games. This was like a couple months ago.
You really like someone though. I think you like it more than you think.
Yeah, but if I'm at work and I'm trying to do stuff.
Not if they're nagging you. Not if they're nagging you, right?
No,
like,
but
what
like,
are you doing? Oh, why aren't you responding to me? Oh, like that's annoying. Okay.
No, but like they're clearly sending those games to like take up time.
Oh,
like
games. Well, games, yeah, that would be annoying. Games would be annoying.
See, you would love that though, if you were with somebody.
I don't like playing games that much. She's like, oh, let's play a game with me. I mean, maybe. I guess I would.
Oh, dude, if you met somebody and she was sending you like pool, Greg,
I don't think so. No,
you would be like, hold on, you would be stopping the podcast now.
I don't think so. I don't.
8-ball corner pocket.
The girl, and I don't think she listens, but actually she knows because I've told her. There's a girl I dated in Brazil, and she is a huge gamer. And so she was like, oh, play Animal Crossing with me at night. And I was like, nah, I'm going out with friends. Like, I really don't want to play video games that much. Like, I'd rather talk.
You did buy a Nintendo Switch to play Animal Crossing.
I did because I was lonely, and I was missing my ex. And I was like, okay, this is one way I can interact with somebody that I like, kind of. Then I ended up giving it to my friend because I didn't even play it that much. I was like, I just gave it to somebody else. I was like, he'll play it more than I will. So yeah, I date a girl who wants me to game with her, man, I'd rather talk. I'd rather talk and text. Yeah.
Yeah, but you would do that because
I don't think so.
See,
I wouldn't play games. I would be like, can we text? Not can we play games together? I want to talk. Like that's what I like to do is talk.
But if they wanted to be like, hey, like we always do what you want to do, talk. We always talk.
Sure.
We always watch a movie.
Yeah.
Can we play a game together? You would do that.
I would play a game. If it's all day, every day, no. Let's play pool all throughout the day on our phones. Like, nah, I mean, I probably would rather just text. You know what I mean?
I'm saying you say that now, but give it 2 months,
Ladies,
guys.
try
Give it 2 months, guys. Adam's going to be on his phone playing beer pong.
Depends on how attractive you are.
He's See, that's another thing we've argued about is like
physical attraction.
Physical attraction. You really value that. That is very high up on your list.
Is the one I can't cite the exact study, but I did read that based on how attractive you think you are or how attractive people have told you are, the more important attractiveness becomes in a potential suitor. If that's not as important to you, or I don't know, people have communicated something different to you throughout your life, attractiveness is not as important and other things are more important. So that was a study that I read that does seem to be true for a lot of people, but obviously there are exceptions. So
Adam's saying he thinks he's dime. He's a dime.
No, not at all. I mean, I think I'm pretty ugly a lot of times, honestly. But it's just it's interesting how that does become important. However, if you find somebody attractive and the personality or qualities aren't there, it's not going to go anywhere, you know? And I've met people like that I'm very physically attracted to, but
have you ever met somebody the opposite? Where like, oh man, like they were so cool.
They're all my female friends. They're amazing people. I love their personalities, but it just didn't work out. Yeah. And I mean, I've met girls that I've been head over heels for, and they've been like, yeah, you're all right. You know, it's like, it is what it is. You just find people you connect, and sometimes it's mutual, sometimes it's not, you know, but I have met, I mean, I wish I could take different pieces of all the people that I've met and put them all into one person, you know, because I've met some really amazing people, but just the feelings weren't there. And the litmus test, I told this about to one of my friends of mine, where it's like, if you're talking to someone and you're thinking, maybe it's not going to work, maybe I want to let them go. It's like, think about how you would feel if they were dating someone else. If they were dating someone else and you don't care, you probably don't like them that much. If they were dating someone else and you'd be like, no, I can't picture you dating someone else, it probably does mean you really like them. That's been the litmus test for me. People that I've really liked, it's been like, oh, it really hurts to finally see you being with somebody else. That sucks. Everybody else, I don't care.
Yeah, I guess, like, I don't know. Don't get me wrong. Like, physical attraction is important.
Yeah.
It is very important.
And whatever's attractive to you, it's different for everybody. You know?
Yeah, no one's going to tell me. I'm not going to tell you that physical attraction is not important. I guess.
You always date some cuties, though, I will say. They're cute.
Yeah, they are. I mean, and I think a part of that is because I am open to dating all types of women, because you just never know. You never know what person is going to sweep you off your feet. And I think, like, no, you don't.
No, you don't. I do. Because if I'm not physically,
you think you do.
I've met a lot of women who have amazing personalities, amazing qualities. I want to hang out with them all the time. I don't care who they date. They can date anybody what they want. I'll still be a best friend with them. It's different. When I find a girl that I'm like, like just visually, I'm just like, I'm kind of stunned. Like, that's a girl I'm going to fall in love with as long as everything else is there. That's just for me. That's me. We have different experiences. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, like, again, to me,
don't discredit my experiences. Okay.
Hey, I'm just saying, I just think you just never know. I think for me, it's like, if you were looking for somebody who is this perfect image in your head, I think it's going to, and it has been hard.
And what's funny, it's not a perfect image in my head. It's just when you see someone that knocks you off your feet, you know, like, I never expected to meet Jessica from Ecuador. I saw her pictures on OkCupid, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like, who is this? I was just instantly like, and then we talked, and personality was there, and she was silly and funny, and, all that other stuff was there, That's all.
Yeah.
Which, you've met girls who at first maybe you're like, oh, she's cute, all right, she's all right. She didn't like knock you off your feet, right? And then you got to know her. And
probably the
built,
best
right?
people that I've talked to. Like, the best, like, people that I thought I had a chance to be with long term were people that maybe at first, like, I was like, they're cute. Mm-hmm. I don't expect to find someone that's going to, like, knock me off my feet pretty. I think that is unfair to hold people to that standard, just in general. Because, like, I know, like,
but it's not an objective standard. It's a subjective standard. It's finding a girl who you're just like, wow, you're beautiful. Oh my gosh. Like, that could be anything to you,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's all. Like, it's funny because I've a lot of the girls that I like, people are like, oh, the girls you like are all like, I don't know, just for whatever, like really skinny, for example. I'm like, well, I'm a really slender guy, so I don't mind girls who are really skinny. And like other guys would be like, oh, she's way too skinny. She's skin and bones. Man, like, I would not be attracted to her. You know what I mean? So it's all different. It's all subjective.
Yeah, see, I don't have any of those, like, height or weight kind of things in my head. For me, it's like, if I'm attracted to you, I'm attracted to you. And I guess that's the way I'm built. It's like, I'm attracted to all types of people.
Right.
And good personalities and, like, great people. And, like, so for me, it's more of that. It's more of that, like, connection. Because, like, looks are going to fade, man. Like, at some point, you're going to gain 1 million pounds or you're going to lose 1 million pounds. You're going to get old. You're going to get wrinkly. You could get in a car accident. That person could be disfigured. Like, what happens if you meet somebody, knocks you off your feet visually, right?
But
no, let me finish. And then they gain 50 pounds through medication or whatever.
You might still love them after 10, 20, 15, 20 years.
But what if it's like after a year? Are you going to be like, I'm breaking up with you because you gained 50 pounds?
It's possible. It happens. I don't know what I would do. I don't know what I would do, but it might change some things. And it might change some things for her too. So
that's the thing. That's what I think about. I'm like, like, as long as I find this person, like, objectively attractive, I guess. So, like, to me, it's like they're attractive, and, like, if they're the coolest person, oh man, like, that's all I care about. Because, like, I'm gonna be with this person. I mean, ideally in my head, I'm gonna be with this person for the rest of my life. I want to be able to have a good, like chemistry with this person. Chemistry is way more important to me than
chemistry is part of attraction. Chemistry is something you can't explain. You just have for that person, whether they're skinny, fat, they gain a lot of weight, they get in a tragic car accident, whatever. The chemistry is what it is to you. It's what makes your brain tick, right? And I think, shoot, what was I going to say? I think from older couples that I've talked to, even my parents, they're in their 70s. Like when I asked my dad, he's like, I'm still really attracted to your mom. Like, yeah, she's changed and, you get more wrinkles and whatever. Like, she's still beautiful to me, And when I've seen other couples like that, they still feel, look at Pierce Brosnan and his wife. His wife gained considerable weight throughout their age and he didn't. And he still loves her just as much. And it could be a combination of personality, chemistry. He likes her face, whatever. He just still loves her, So that love does come with time, I don't really know.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, that's what I tell people and like, that's just my personal experience.
It's not a hard and fast rule, Like
no, yeah. It is going to be harder for you to meet people, though.
It is hard.
Because
I get it.
Because you're looking up here and like a majority of people are right here.
No, but the thing is, what's interesting is it's not choice. I'm not choosing anything. Like, I have met amazing women who are attractive by a lot of people's standards. For whatever reason, I just didn't like them that much. The romance, the chemistry wasn't there. They could date 1,000 guys. I could hear about all of it. No problem at all. Just didn't like them. And when you like somebody, you just like them. I don't know why that is. Because there's girls, like some of the girls that I've liked, my ex-girlfriend from Brazil told me this too. She's like, Adam, you just like always find me attractive. Like, she's like, I've met guys who are really handsome and they don't give a second thought to me. They don't care. I just think she's beautiful, And other people don't think that necessarily. So it's like who is attractive to you is just who is attractive to you.
Yeah.
You can't choose it.
That's
you really
fair.
Can't,
No, I get it.
What do you think our eyes age like our bodies do in the sense like they say every 7 years your body changes chemically to where you can get allergies or something? It's like, do your eyes change? And I don't mean your eyes. I mean like your mind's eye of what you find attractive.
Could be. Yeah, have you guys ever met girls that you were attracted to like 10 years ago and now you would be like, I don't know why I like that person?
I mean, see, I've met women and even like very recently that like I used to find very physically attractive, but like then when I talked to them, I was like, oh no, oh boy,
1,000% same thing.
100%. This will just not work out for me.
Yep,
great person, just not for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I do want someone that is a little bit more career driven. I guess is like what's important to me. So what's important to me in a relationship when I look for a potential mate is a career-driven person. Are they able to be on their own? Can they handle themselves like by themselves? Because I like my personal time.
Right.
Like what are like long-term plans for them? Like, are you thinking about the future? I think those are all important things for me where like, and like if those three things agree and I find you like really attractive, like that's awesome. And hey, I am willing to date someone that I find cute. I don't need the person to be like by society standards, hot. That's just me. I mean,
no, but that's not a thing. The thing is, we're not judging who we like by society standards. We're judging who we like by our own brain and our own internal chemistry. Because you've even said before, like there's certain girls you're like, she's not really that active. Maybe she's whatever. It's not really as appealing to me, and that's fine. There are physical standards we all have in our brain, but it's not society standards. It's just our own. I know some skinny guys who love really full women, and that's awesome. That's just in their brain. They're just like, oh my gosh, she's amazing. Maybe society would deem her as maybe somewhat unhealthy, but he really likes her. So just saying it's subjective to each person's brain.
Yeah, I get it.
We can't choose. I don't really think we can choose who we love.
No, you can't.
No.
Yeah,
I think so. I think though,
unfortunately,
if that is, do you feel like sometimes we try to like rush things, like we try to like find a person like that way more quickly than we're meant to because we want to be in a relationship so bad?
Well, you can't rush it, right? Like if you don't find that person, you just don't find that person. You're waiting. You're trying to find.
I mean by like rushing, like you're going out all the time, you're doing all these things, like whatever. Hey, no judgment. Like I think
interesting story.
I think it is important to have some time of self-reflection throughout the week. So like a day like today where I just stayed at home. I only went out once because a friend of mine opened up a liquor store by me, so I went to go say hi and support him. Bottle shop, First Aid Bottle Shop. It's on it's right off Route 4 in the same plaza as BJ's. Go support him. Say hi to him.
Oh, nice.
Little cheap plug for him. And I went back and like I played video games today. I watched I caught up on some TV. I did some laundry. Made myself a cup of coffee.
Did you listen to any records?
I didn't listen to any records today. I was trying to catch up on that show, The Boys, which I really, really dig. And I'm all caught up on it now. And like I need that time of self-reflection. And I guess and I've needed that time of self-reflection.
What makes you think I don't get that time of self-reflection?
I'm not saying you don't. It just seems like you are constantly out and doing stuff. And I don't know when you get that time of self-reflection.
Right. And so and what I tell people too is like,
and I'm not judging you. I'm just saying I don't know when he gets his personal time, but I couldn't live that life.
I mean, I've been single most of my life. I've had a lot of self-reflection time.
Do you meditate in your car when you drive?
Sometimes
within reason.
Meditate at home, or just spend time even just like crying or playing music by myself and just kind of thinking and processing things. Absolutely. And what I tell people is like, I have a lot of my dad's genes in me. So like he's a natural like networker and connector and extrovert. So even when I'm in a relationship, like I still want to be out meeting people. Like it is one of the things that gives me meaning and purpose. Like music and creativity is part of it. Being in a relationship is part of it. And connecting people and networking is like, it's kind of a high for me. I love to do that. It's so fun. I can use that as part of my search for a partner. But even once I have a partner, I still want to go like connect people and network and get friends together and like, oh, you're really lonely. You were looking for friends. Oh, come join my friends. Like I love that. Like it gives me a lot of energy, Yeah. I do want to share a story though. It's interesting. I was talking to my mom about, being single and all this stuff. And she mentioned a story about Katie Couric, who was a really famous journalist, female journalist. And she said as she was getting older, I think she had been through a marriage or a relationship before. She was getting older and she was like, I really want to find a husband. I've got a great career. I've got everything going for me. I just really want to have a family. Like I really want to settle down. And so she just started, she was on a mission. She was on a goal to find her partner. And she started asking all her friends like, hey, do you know anybody who would be interested? Whatever. And she asked all her friends and eventually got through and narrowed down to this one guy who she ended up having a relationship and a marriage. And I think when people try to tell me, like one of my friends actually said that to me recently. She's like, why don't you just stop looking for a partner? And I was like, well, why don't you stop working on your career? Like, I have my career. I have everything else in my life that I need besides a partner, and that's really important to me. I'm not desperate. I'm not choosing to be with terrible people because I really want to be with someone. It's something I really want, so I'm going to work toward it in a healthy way to try and find it. And it'll take time. But I love to meet people. I love to connect. And if that is something I can do on a journey toward finding my wife, there's nothing wrong with that. No one can ever tell me otherwise. You can if you want.
No, I'm
just kidding. But I love to tell it to people. I feel guilty for looking for somebody,
So when do you get your time of self-reflection? Because you never answer that question.
All the time. At night, when I take a shower. I played guitar at home yesterday.
Do you ever just spend a day where you just say, this day is just for me? Or is it just those little snippets?
I do that by default. There's lots of times where I have to spend all day by myself or just cutting grass and thinking the whole time and just doing whatever, cleaning my car, doing chores. But hey, if I got one day to spare and I can spend it with friends, that's how I like to spend my time. It's rejuvenating to me. It's enlightening. I spend tons of time by myself,
I used to do that. I used to do the driving thing. So when I was in college and just stuff would get heavy, just college was not a fun experience for me. Just stressing over classes, trying to get grades and all that stuff. I would just drive. There were several occasions where I would just drive down to Rehoboth and back on a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
If stuff was bothering me and it was I gotta get out. I gotta get away from all this stuff. Gotta get a change of scenery. And even just something stupid like going down in the middle of the freezing cold and just walking up and down the empty boardwalk and here in the ocean. Yeah. There was something comforting about that because it was different. It wasn't Newark. It didn't have that familiar sound, the bells playing all the time and that stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. I think we get plenty of time by default, whether we're driving or just in the normal course of things. When I go for a walk, and again, the thing is too, I work from home, so I'm mostly alone all day. So it is nice to be able to, I am alone with my thoughts most of the time. So I have a lot of time to process things. Yeah. But you're a little more, well, I'd say you're probably a little more introverted. I'm you re-energize by being by yourself. I re-energize by being around people.
I mean, you see all the people I know. I mean, that's not from being introverted. I am an extroverted person. I just know that.
But it's how you recharge.
I need to recharge my social battery.
Right.
And that doesn't, like, there are days where I just don't want to see anybody. And that's just what it is.
Yeah, and I'm just different.
Yeah, I do think it's important, though. I do think just taking that one night for yourself, I think, is very important. That's just
right. And that's the thing. Like, I do that by default. Like, I can't spend every night with people. And sometimes I like to, I prefer to. And there's nothing wrong with that, So, spend lots of time on my own. Tomorrow, I'm getting a massage. Does that count as alone time?
Is it a parlor or is it
This is a friend whose business I know. They do. I haven't actually
I'm
seen
saying, shout out to Carrie for pointing that out. And just
massage parlors are the best. No, I'm just kidding. So it'd be interesting. It'd be cool.
What am I doing tomorrow? Oh, I think a buddy of ours is coming over. I got a couple of interesting beers from that bottle shop today for us to try. It's like, let me see. I think it's from like the company Burley Oak. And they have this line called the Dream. And there are 3 flavors that I got. Strawberry, banana, marshmallow, white chocolate is one flavor.
That's a lot of flavors in one.
Raspberry, white chocolate, peanut butter cake is the other one.
Wow.
And cranberry, cobbler, a la mode. They're all like milk sours. They should be like pretty good.
That's awesome. And that's a local company, right?
Yeah.
Local Wilmington company. Nice.
Not Wilmington, but.
Okay.
Are you going to try to do food pairings?
No. I think he's just going to come over. We're probably just going to have some bro time. And
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
You want to wrap up with the mental health check?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't do it last time. Greg, do you want to go first?
I'll go first with the hay. I should be worse than I am, but I'm not. I was like working pretty late last night till almost like 3 this morning, but
nice.
I feel good. I'm like about an 8.
8, 0 to 10, 10 being the best, 8.
8, like
good.
80%.
Nice, man. How about you, Reuben?
I was going to say you. I'm probably at an 8. I'm feeling a little tired. I think that's the only reason it's not higher. Just it's, switching over to a new schedule and then switching back to an old schedule is kind of, tiring and wears me out. And then, so I'm good.
Good.
How about you?
Yeah, I'm. I'd say probably about a 7 today. Yesterday was probably more like an 8, which was good. I just, to be honest, my ex, who I was just talking about from Ecuador, I do still very much care for. She has moved on, and I'm happy and ready to move on. But when you feel like maybe you could have done something different, or you lost somebody who was good, you just you have to grit your teeth and bear it and keep moving. So it affects my mental health sometimes, but I'm certainly ready to move on. I know the next person that I meet will be a real blessing. So yeah. Thanks, man. Thanks for letting me share, everyone. Appreciate it. Who's getting stuff off our chest. Well, guys, please check us out on Instagram, Guys Who Cry Official. We're posting a lot more. What did I say? Guys Who Cry Official. We haven't put anything out on TikTok, but you can also find us on YouTube. Go to guyswhocry.com/YouTube. We'll have this episode up there. Thanks for joining us for the second part.
Smash that like button on.
Season 3, smash that like button, please. Comment.
Yeah, what do we have? Like 6 episodes left to go? 7 episodes left to go?
We can do another 6, 7 episodes, and we'll take a break until the fall. That sounds good.
Yeah.
All right.
So close.
Thanks, everyone. Tune in next week and be entertained.
Ass hot.